My goodness, you need to be moving into this gold and silver, and you need to be moving
Ted,
now.
Take the great Big Brother Orwellian Nightmare Come True book, big book, excellent book. The American Dream DVD film animation about the bankers, very entertaining, very informative. And $2 silver with shipping, $85. You can't get $2 silver for $85, and if you can, if you're lucky, you're not going to get free shipping. So it's really free shipping, a book, and a video with an insanely good deal. 800-686-2237. I'd say support the broadcast because Ted owns the network, but this doesn't really. It just gets you into some silver and gold and introduces you to it, and then hopefully you'll come back and purchase more. But Ted's very, very competitive. 800-686-2237. This is a lost leader. And when you call, there's a whole list of radio specials. Tell them it's an Alex Jones radio special to get in the time machine and go back and get the earlier stuff, or you will pay a little bit more, which is already very competitive. 800-686-2237. In closing, Ted, what are some of the other smoking deals you got?
And right now, the Walking Liberty half is at $18.97. That's going to be jumping up over $20. I mean, there's old $20 Liberties are now currently $19.82. They were just $2,000 here just a short time ago. British sovereigns and francs, small pieces of gold. It makes a lot of sense to have those. So there's a lot of things that we have. Just give the brokers a call and ask them.
Absolutely. 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. We'll be right back. Thank you, Ted. Your call straight ahead. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to your phone calls. Connie was up first, but she just hung up. So we'll go to Marcus in West Virginia. Marcus, you're on the air.
Hi, Alex. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, you sort of answered my question earlier, but I want you to elaborate on it. And I had been wanting to call you for a couple of days and about Obama. When it comes time for election, if he'll just, stay in power.
He is no longer the president, sir. He is the 13th member of the council, the supreme council of the dear leaders.
Exactly. I remember at the end of Clinton's second term, there was talk of him not stepping down. So,
well, you know why there was always talk? Because under the executive orders, and go read them. I mean, it's mainstream news now, finally getting attention under PDDs. They have already made themselves dictators. That's why Congress probably did this. Because in PDD 51 and the other one I read yesterday, what is it, Homeland Security Directive 20, it openly states there, in fact, I'll re-pull it and read it in the next segment. It openly states that he can take over all power of Congress for 6 months during any emergency, including economic. So it's already happened. But again, it's not legitimate because the president just can't sign orders making himself king.
Yeah, I understand that. But I think he can do it. I mean, I think he could pull it off, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, have you noticed suddenly they're all saying the Tea Partiers are Hezbollah and are Al-Qaeda? You've got Pelosi, you got Reid, you got Biden, all saying it, New York Times. I mean, folks, they're going to blow stuff up and blame it on us. I mean, just get ready for it. Just like they ship guns into Mexico. These are terrorists. Hardcore terrorist. And if folks don't grow up and admit it, it's over. It's game over, Marcus. We either, as a country, grow up and go, my gosh, we got a bunch of Hitlers up there mixed with a bunch of Stalins and Maos and Fidel Castros and a little Chavez on top, then it's over. We either grow up, repent, and realize we're in deep trouble or it's over. And people say, well, why did they leave you on air? Because they're so arrogant they don't even care. I'm told this show's entertainment for them. They like hearing, the truth said and no one doing anything. It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. People can figure out football plays, but they can't figure out how this is going on. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. No, exactly. People are into that instead of, you should be picking your congressman. It
doesn't matter, folks. We already, as soon as they started leaving the Constitution and Bill of Rights out of the picture, all our prosperity went out the window. Okay, I mean, go ahead.
No, absolutely, brother. Hey.
You're evil.
Fight the good fight.
You
Yeah, I'm evil. Yeah, I want to smoke a turd in somewhere, But that's all right.
Listen, I appreciate your call. You're so horrible, Marcus, that you care about freedom and liberty. What was that last thing he said? I once did what? I didn't understand that. Brian in Pennsylvania, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. How you doing?
Oh, I'm evil. I don't like a Council of 13 ruling me. And I actually read what it does. I'm even more evil that I know that it's a dictatorship. But they'll still prance around and act like the House is voting.
Yeah, everybody else is evil, too. That's waking up. it blows my mind that they're actually getting away with stuff like this. You know, people don't realize all the hunters out there, they're not going to be able to go hunting anymore. And, you know, all this stuff is going to end up killing America. You're not going to be able to do anything anymore without the president's approval.
Well, what do folks think Homeland Security's for? It's the bailing wire the psychopath uses to tie the 5-year-old down before he rapes them. That's all it is.
I have 3 kids, and I'm scared to death of what's going to happen to them and what their future is going to hold. You know, I just can't believe this stuff is going on. You know, people, all they have to do is look up.
Hey, here's the deal. We ain't seen nothing yet. There's these periods in history where more happens in a few years than happened in the last 100. We're not even to that yet. We're just approaching the event horizon of the orgy of mass murder and death. They've got the helicopters loaded. The Sunshine Project got the documents with the airborne Ebola to spray on us. I mean, they actually got the documents that they've got helicopters with knockout gas and lethal weapons parked at bases everywhere to kill everybody in America. That's who runs the country for decades. I mean, psychopathic, total murdering killers. Of course they don't think we're going to take the country back. All these folks that they're going to have some armed rebellion, they've now don't even need troops to fly the helicopters. They've got robot helicopters with airborne Ebola and nerve gas waiting in spray quadrants to kill everybody. That's who runs America. Okay? Total psychopathic, 110% Mac Daddy murderers. So hardcore and vicious, you can't even imagine it. Okay? And they've almost got their drone aircraft army ready. And then it's going to be murdering time on all of you. And you cops, when they fly over and you're like, just remember, Alex was right. You know, if we go to that point, okay? I mean, I'm not playing games with people here. New World Order wants us dead. Okay, Jenny, Ryan, Earl, Kathy, Chris, others, we're going to be getting to your calls while Pastor Chuck Baldwin is on with us. Of course, presidential candidate in the Constitution Party, and unfortunately, everything he's been warning about and pointing out is now unfolding. And it's just going to get worse from here. We've begun now the slide down the slippery slope. And it's just going to get faster and faster and faster. The level of tyranny you will live under is exactly the amount you'll put up with. Even if you had angels in government and didn't restrain them, evil people would struggle to get into those positions because that's where the real power and wealth comes from in a corrupt system. And we're going to be talking about the Council of 13, all of these incredible developments, your calls. The reason I got the pastor on is he's got a new book coming out dealing with something that Hitler used, something the Soviets used, the Maoists used, something now taught through the World Council of Churches, through the clergy response teams. And that is that do whatever government says. If they tell you to line children up and shoot them in the head, do it. It's of the Lord, because government is put there by God to gang rape you. And, of course, that's the opposite. Look at all the disciples and people being killed for not doing what Caesar said or what the Pharisees said. Look at all the different prophets. Look at Jesus. I mean, I guess he should have bowed down to Pilate, but he didn't. But see, they don't want you reading that. And I played the news clips. In fact, for later, you can go to YouTube and just type in clergy response team. And it's a newscast saying, we're teaching people of the Lord to hand their guns in. That's coming up in just a moment. Also, remember, we're funded by your support here at Infowars.com and the radio listeners out there. And we are offering a new T-shirt that is our bestseller ever. And it's Liberty or Death, Don't Tread on Me. And it's a variant of the coiled snake. And people just absolutely love it. Very handsome shirt. I get a lot of comments when I wear it out in public. And it gets the word out, Infowars.com on the back. You want to meet a lot of like-minded people? Start wearing shirts like this out there, especially now that the vice president and Reid and others are calling anybody that's for liberty or Tea Party or a terrorist. That's all over the news today. So, again, that's available at Infowars.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. And lastly here, eFoods Direct is celebrating their 30th anniversary with a great deal. Save 30% off the Freedom Unit one-year food supply. Here's your chance to save $536.70 off. They're already low price for a one-year supply of their best storable foods on the planet. This price is even lower than the same volume of food that it was when we first started back in 1981. This offer ends soon, so act now. Quantities are limited. Be prepared before you need it. Act now. Go to efoodsdirect.com/Alex. The letter efoodsdirect.com/Alex, or call 800-409-5633, 800-409-5633. or again, follow the banners at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Now, going to Chuck Baldwin, I can't think of a more perfect time to have him on because we carry his sometimes multiple weekly columns. Very well researched, great work that he does, and we're obviously going to get into his new book, but I want to get into Super Congress to target the Second Amendment, according to Larry Pratt. The bills now will originate out of the Super Congress, and there's no filibustering or amendments. And then if the Congress doesn't vote yes on their bill, then the Super Congress on spending bills implements it themselves. So it's a dictatorship over the purse between 12 members of the House and Senate and, of course, the 13th commander, Emperor, the Council of 13 chairman, the dear leader, Obama. But going, again, to Chuck Baldwin, author, radio talk show host, pastor, columnist, and, of course, he has ChuckBaldwinLive.com, and he was the presidential candidate and got a lot of attention, got a lot of good work done for the Constitution Party back during the last presidential round. And he joins us now to break down all the different things that are unfolding and taking place. The new book is Romans 13, The True Meaning of Submission. Pastor, good to have you here with us.
Alex, great to be with you again. Thank you very much.
Well, so much has happened, so much is going on, but out of the gates, before we get into Romans 13, give us your view and your breakdown of this new Super Congress.
Yeah. Well, Larry Pratt does yeoman's work in keeping the American people informed on what's going on relative to Second Amendment issues. And I know your audience is a pretty intelligent audience because they listen to you every day and the information you share. But anything that Larry Pratt puts out, people need to pay attention to. That's the bottom line. Unlike some of the other organizations that say they're looking out for the Second Amendment, the Gun Owners of America and Larry Pratt are really doing it. And whenever Larry broke this story, I just shook my head and said, you know, this is stuff that we've been talking about for a long time, and now here it is in reality.
Pastor, do me a favor. I can hear you pretty clear, but you're a little muffled. Will you get right into that microphone on your phone?
All right. How's that?
That is absolutely beautiful. Please continue with your breakdown.
Yeah, I was just saying that Larry Pratt is the one man that really, truly looks out for the Second Amendment issues in America. And as you know, you have him on many times. He is, when he first broke that story, I shook my head and I said, you know, this is the stuff that we've been talking about. This is stuff that you've been talking about for a long time. And now here it is in fruition, just like the debt ceiling debacle. I mean, you predicted it. I predicted it. I mean, a lot of people. This is a no-brainer. We knew this was going to happen. Republicans and Democrats alike, they will not do what is necessary to discipline themselves to the Constitution of the United States. This is a debacle of the highest order, and you know, everything that we've been talking about for the last several years. I was in 2A when I was, you know, running around the country trying to get the message out after Ron Paul, you know, dropped out of the race. And now here we are again in 2012, and the things that we were talking about then have now come to fruition.
Well, you're right. It is now coming to fruition. I want to get into Romans 13 and this attitude of rolling over to government. But, I mean, it's so arrogant. I mean, so over the top. And then there's not even a bigger fanfare because it's all technical and lawyery and in fine print, Chuck. But to say, oh, the bills will now originate out of a council, and then you can vote it up or down, but if you don't vote for it, then we automatically do this. I mean, this is bizarre.
Well, they're setting us up for this continuity of government. I've been writing on this for several years. I know you've been talking about it. The COG has been around since the 1990s when Clinton was president. It was intensified whenever Bush II was in office. And this is just a continuation of it. And then the Council of Governors. We wrote about that. You go to the FEMA website and you see that that America is broken down into 10 regions. They no longer even recognize America as being 50 states. It's now 10 regions. And the Council of Governors, the COG, all this stuff has been going on at least since the 1990s. But now what we're doing is we're seeing that this is now coming to fruition. They're taking the blueprints that they've had in place for nearly 20 years, and they are now beginning